It is 2 in the afternoon on a day in July. The thermometer on the fence post reads 94 degrees. I walked out to the tomato beds an hour ago, and I stood there looking at plants that were watered this morning, fed last week, staked up properly, with no sign of disease on any leaf I could find. And every flower on them was going to drop before nightfall. Not because the plants were sick, not because I made a mistake, because the soil under those plants, the 2 or 3 inches right below the surface where the feeding roots live, was running close to 120 degrees. And tomato roots do not work at 120 degrees. They do not take up water, they do not take up calcium, they do not support the flower stems above them. They simply stop. And when the roots stop, the plant sheds everything it cannot afford to carry. Flowers first, then fruit that is already set, then growth slows to almost nothing. The plant goes into something close to survival mode, keeping the leaves alive and waiting for the temperature to drop. My name is Moses Beiler. I garden on a farm that has grown tomatoes in the same ground for 4 generations, and I want to tell you about the one thing that changed how those beds perform every summer. It costs about $4, it takes about 40 minutes to put down, and the fertilizer companies and the irrigation equipment sellers would rather you never thought about it. Because once you understand what it does to your soil temperature, you realize that half the products being sold to fix summer tomato problems are being sold to fix a problem that the $4 solution already solved. Stay with me, because what I am going to show you today is not complicated. It is just something that got lost somewhere between the old way of doing this and the way the garden centers talk to people now. Let me start with what is actually happening under your feet on a July afternoon, because most gardeners have never thought about this carefully. The air temperature might be 94 degrees. That is the number on the weather app. But the surface of bare soil sitting in full afternoon sun is not 94 degrees. It is closer to 130 or 140. You can test this yourself. Push a meat thermometer or a cheap soil thermometer into the top 2 inches of an unmulched tomato bed at 2 in the afternoon, and you will see a number that surprises you. The soil surface acts like a dark pan sitting on a stove. It absorbs radiant heat from the sun directly, and it holds it. Below the surface, the temperature drops, but in the top 3 inches, where most of the fine feeding roots are, the heat is enough to impair root function significantly. The University of Delaware Extension Program has published data showing that pollen in tomato flowers becomes non-viable when daytime temperatures exceed 85 to 95 degrees, and when nighttime temperatures stay above 70. The flowers form, the plant looks healthy, but the pollen is sterile. The flowers drop, you get no fruit. Now, here is the part that the garden center does not want to talk about. Soil temperature and air temperature are not the same thing. You can have 82 degrees of air temperature and 118 degrees at the soil surface. Your plants are feeling 118 degrees at the roots, even on a day that does not feel brutal to you standing in the garden. And the feeding roots are in that zone. This is why people water, fertilize, check for disease, find nothing wrong, and still watch their tomatoes stop producing in the middle of July. The problem is underground, and it is not being addressed by anything they are selling you at the garden center. Here is what we do on this farm, and here is what Amish growers across Pennsylvania and Ohio have always done, because we did not have the option of buying the spray, or the drip kit, or the soil temperature corrector in a bag. We mulch deep. That is it. 3 to 4 inches of loose straw laid around the base of every tomato plant, starting about 2 inches out from the stem and going out as far as the plant's drip line. Straw is the material I use because it is what we have. Wheat straw or oat straw, the kind left after grain harvest. Not hay. This is important, and I will come back to it. Not wood chips either, not at the base of a tomato. Straw. Loose, dry, and applied deep. What does it do? The straw intercepts the sun before it reaches the soil. The soil surface never heats up to 130 degrees because the sun never hits it directly. A layer of straw that is 3 to 4 inches deep keeps the soil temperature in the root zone 15 to 20 degrees cooler than bare soil on the same day in the same sun. That is not my number. Research from multiple university extension programs and growing trials backs that range up. 15 to 20 degrees in the root zone changes everything about how a tomato plant behaves in July. The roots stay functional, they continue taking up water, they continue taking up calcium, which means blossom end rot drops away. The soil moisture stays stable because the straw also blocks evaporation. Organic mulch in vegetable beds has been shown to reduce soil moisture loss by 40 to 60% in peak summer heat. You water less, the plant stresses less, the flowers hold, the fruit sets, the whole season changes. A bale of straw at most farm supply stores runs somewhere between $5 and $8. One bale covers 100 to 150 square feet at a 3 to 4 inch depth. If you have 6 tomato plants in raised beds, one bale is enough. One bale. That is the $4 solution. Though with prices moving, it might be 6 or 8 by the time you read this. It is still the cheapest productive thing you can do for a tomato plant in July. And the fertilizer company charging you $24 for a bloom booster bottle will not mention it, because a bale of straw does not move the sales needle and does not create a repeat customer every season. The straw breaks down by fall and goes into the soil as organic matter. Next year, you buy another bale. That is the maintenance schedule. Now, I said not hay, and I want to explain that because it is a mistake people make, and it costs them the whole benefit. Hay is cut grass. It contains seeds, thousands of them. When you spread hay in a garden bed, you are also spreading a full weed crop that will germinate inside the mulch layer within 2 weeks. You will spend more time pulling those weeds than the mulch saves you in watering. Straw is the stalk left after grain harvest, after the seed heads have been removed. Wheat straw, oat straw, barley straw. Almost no viable seeds. That is the difference. At the farm supply or the feed store, ask specifically for straw, not bedding hay, not field hay. Straw. The bales are usually lighter in color and lighter in weight than hay. When you pull the bale apart, it should not smell like a barn floor. It should smell dry and slightly sweet, like old grain. If you cannot find straw bales locally, shredded leaves work well. Dried grass clippings work in a thin layer, but only thin because green or wet clippings mat down and create an airless layer that is worse than nothing. Compost works at the soil level, but does not shade the surface the same way. For keeping the root zone cool in summer, loose straw is the best material I know. Here is where most people get it wrong, even after they decide to mulch. They put down an inch, maybe an inch and a half. They see the soil still getting hot in the afternoon, and they think the mulch is not working. An inch of straw is not enough. It compresses within a few days. It breaks down in the heat, and it does not shade the soil surface adequately. You need 3 to 4 inches, applied loose and fluffy, not packed down. When you put that much straw around a tomato plant, you should not be able to see the soil surface at all. The straw should look like a generous bed surrounding the plant. The second mistake is piling it against the stem. Leave a 2-inch gap around the main stem of every plant. Straw sitting against the stem holds moisture directly against the bark and creates conditions for crown rot and fungal problems at the base. The mulch goes around the plant, not against it. Circle the stem, leave the gap, pile it deep from there outward. Those are the 2 rules. Now I want to tell you about the secondary effect that nobody explains, and it is the one that made the biggest difference on this farm. When you mulch the soil and keep it 15 degrees cooler, you also stabilize the moisture level in the root zone through the whole day. Here is what that means in practice. An unmulched tomato bed goes through wet and dry cycles every single day during a heat wave. You water in the morning. The soil surface dries out and heats up by 10 o'clock. By 2 in the afternoon, the top layer is hot and nearly dry. The roots near the surface are in stress. That cycle of wet and dry, hot and less hot, causes blossom end rot more reliably than almost anything else. Blossom end rot is not caused by a lack of calcium in your soil. It is caused by inconsistent calcium uptake, which happens when roots are stressed by inconsistent moisture and temperature. People pour calcium sprays on their plants and see no improvement because the calcium was never the problem. The root zone stress was the problem. Stable soil moisture from mulch solves blossom end rot in most home gardens without a single calcium spray, without a single amendment, without spending anything beyond the cost of the straw. This is one of those things where I genuinely do not understand why it is not the first thing every gardening book says. Except I do understand, because there is no money in it. Let me tell you what to look for after you put the mulch down, so you know it is working. Within 3 to 4 days of mulching, go out at 2 in the afternoon and push your finger into the soil, just inside the mulch layer. Then push your finger into a bare patch of soil nearby. You should feel a clear temperature difference. The mulched soil should feel noticeably cooler to the touch. If you have a soil thermometer, take readings at both spots at 2-inch depth and compare them. A difference of 10 degrees or more tells you the mulch layer is doing its job. Within a week to 10 days of stable temperatures and consistent moisture, flowers that were dropping should begin to hold. Fruit that was aborting should begin to set. This takes time because the plant has to recover from the stress period, but the change is visible. The flowers stop yellowing at the stem. The little green fruit buttons that form behind the flower hold on instead of dropping. That is the sign. There is one condition where you need to adjust this method, and I want to be straight with you about it because it is real. If you garden in a zone with cool summers and short nights, places in the northern Midwest or New England where July nights drop into the 50s reliably, mulching too early in the season can keep your soil too cold for good tomato establishment. In those areas, wait until the soil has reached 65 degrees at 2-inch depth before applying deep mulch. Tomatoes need warm soil to establish roots. The mulch is a summer tool, not a spring tool in cool climates. In USDA Zone 6 and above, where July nights stay warm, you can mulch as soon as the plants are in the ground and established. In Zones 4 and 5, wait until you feel the heat arriving before laying it on deep. Get a simple soil thermometer if you are unsure.
The number to watch is 65 degrees at 2 inches for the go-ahead. And if the soil is already running hot in midsummer, mulch is the answer, regardless of your zone.
I want to say one more thing before I let you go, because this gets at something larger than just a bale of straw. My grandmother never bought a soil temperature amendment or a blossom set spray or a calcium drench. Not because those things did not exist in some form, but because she understood that a tomato plant already knows how to set fruit. It does it without any help when the conditions are right. Her job, and the job she taught me, was to keep the conditions right. Shade the root zone, keep the moisture stable, do not let the soil run hot. The plant will do the rest. That understanding came from watching what happened when conditions slipped, watching the flowers drop, and making the connection to what the soil was doing that afternoon. It is the kind of knowledge that does not make anyone money, and so nobody sells it. You learn it by paying attention to what is happening 2 inches underground on a hot afternoon. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You look at a tomato plant differently. You look at bare soil between your plants, and you see a problem waiting to happen. So here is what I want you to do this weekend. Get 1 bale of wheat straw from a farm supply or a feed store. It will cost you $5 to $8, and you can probably fit it in a car. When you get it home, cut the strings and break it apart. Go to your tomato beds. Leave a 2-inch gap around every stem. Then lay the straw 3 to 4 inches deep from that gap outward to the full width of each plant. You should use most of a bale on 4 to 6 plants if you were doing it right. Water the beds once after mulching to help the straw settle slightly without packing it. Then go back inside. Push a thermometer in at 2 in the afternoon and compare it to the bare edge of the bed. Write down the numbers. Come back in 10 days and tell me what your flowers are doing. That is the whole job. 1 bale, 40 minutes, and a thermometer check at 2 o'clock. The garden companies will sell you a lot of things before they tell you that.